You guys, I feel good. I really feel fantastic and on top of the world since my new hormone protocol. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you what I've done before, what I'm doing now, and the big change and difference it's made to me within 4 days. 4 days, people. I feel on top of the world. I feel fantastic. I can't wait to share all this information with you, and I really hope, truly, that what I'm about to share with you is going to help one of you, two of you. I share it from the heart. I share it. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm telling you what I'm doing. And it's working. Finally. Hallelujah. It's like the angels are singing. Something has worked. Finally. I'm out of the fog. For now. Maybe as my hormones change, things will change, but you don't want to miss this video. I mean, just to put into context how good I feel, you know how children run from activity to activity, or when you go and fetch them, they run to the car. That's me today. I actually have a spring in my step. I've got my bounce back. I could almost cry with the feeling of enthusiasm and energy I have, which I haven't felt in years, people. Years and years. I could cry. I'm going to tell you everything I'm doing. It's not that complicated. Stay tuned. I'm going to share all of it. Okay, so I just want to go over what I'm currently taking today as I make this video. I am currently on every day, so it's been 4 days, and I know it's early. I don't want to evangelize too much. It could be the placebo effect. However, I genuinely don't think so because I've never felt this good. So I'm currently on one pump. Let me show you here of estrogel. So I did get the doctor to prescribe me estrogen gel, estradiol. So each 50-gram container, which is this whole container, contains 100 milligrams of estradiol. So I'm not putting in estrone or estriol, the other two forms of estrogen that don't drop in menopause. I'm only putting in the one that we're looking at. Then I'm also on half a pump, as you can see they've marked half a pump of testosterone gel cream every day. In the evenings, I'm on one pump of progesterone gel, and that's from day 8 to 26 of the cycle. When you stop it, after 2 to 3 days, it triggers a period, just like being on the birth control pill. When you stop the hormones there, you know, the sugar pills or the inactive pills, you trigger a period. Not a real one, but still. I'm on now. This is the big change we made. We've put me on 100 milligrams of L-troxin. I was on 50 milligrams of euthyrox, but my T4 was still low. So something wasn't working. So we've changed brand and doubled the dose. I take one of these in the evening because in the morning I'm still on half a tablet of tetroxin. Now I asked the doctor when I went. I was there on Friday. Today is Monday. So I've been on this new protocol, 5 things for 4 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, now Monday. I feel, as you saw in the intro, like a whole new person. So the two changes are the estrogel, which I have never had in my life before, and then we've bumped up to L-troxin 100 milligrams. Before that, I have tried a month of the progesterone and testosterone, and then we put me on later onto tetroxin, and then we added in euthyrox. So I cannot pinpoint which thing is working for me right now. My gut feeling is that it's a beautiful combination of everything. As we bump all these levels up, something is working. But I would say that yesterday I felt good, but today I felt like a kid again. I felt like there was an internal song dancing around inside of me. So in today's video, I want to tell you my story to the best of my memory. I've got some blood test results that I can put on the screen, but I remember generally all the blood tests and what's happened. So I've got quite a history of testing since I'm going to say 2015. I was a banting coach. Banting is keto, if you from overseas. Banting is the South African term. And as a banting coach, I used to test the clients' blood. So I was working under a doctor, and we would send the clients for blood tests. Those blood tests were far more to do with their blood sugar levels, their blood lipid levels, but we would also test things like their D3 and sometimes hormones if things weren't coming right. I got into banting and being a banting coach because after I competed on stage in bodybuilding contests, I think with the strict dieting and the heavy training load, or it was just my own hormones declining, something started to not feel right. So I haven't felt 100% since around 2014. I started to search for something. Something didn't feel right anymore. Before that, I felt like any youthful person, energized, full of vigor. Obviously, when I was sleep deprived, when my son was first born, and you know, the usual wake-ups, that was tiring, but that's explained. In about 2014, I just started to have these like afternoon crashes, and my blood sugar was starting to drop quite quickly, or I wouldn't have sustained energy. And so I started to search, and I latched on to keto. It was all the rage back then. And in South Africa, there was Professor Tim Noakes, who was promoting this diet quite hectically. And so I went onto it and I tried it. And of course, immediately I did feel better, but probably because I was putting a lot more fat than I had previously. Previously, I was almost cutting out most fats, which also is not healthy. Anything too extreme is not healthy. But the banting or the keto way didn't really work for me long term. Although initially I got this boost of energy, that fell away very quickly, because then I found, yes, I could do endurance exercise, but I couldn't do my normal weight training. So the fast burst, are they the fast twitch fibers that you need? I couldn't sprint. I was battling to push heavy weights like I used to. I wasn't feeling well, but I was sort of still searching. And even though in 2015 my thyroid had actually tested low, I had done some reading on the internet. Now this is where internet research you've got to be careful with, and even listening to me, I always say do your own research. But my thyroid had tested low in 2015, and yet I never went to a doctor to sort it out. I had done some Google research, like I said, and I'd read that if you're on a keto diet or a high-fat, low-carb diet, your thyroid can function on a low level, and it's actually quite normal for that diet. So I thought, oh well, I'm on this banting keto diet, so cool, I'm normal. I was slim. I didn't really have any overt signs and symptoms of a low thyroid. I was always cold, but that's sort of me. I've always tended towards feeling the cold. Maybe I was feeling it more, I don't know, but other than that, nothing major, no screaming bells. So I just accepted, okay, low thyroid, I operate on a low thyroid. It's on the low side of normal, although it was like on the edge. And I just carried on. I'd also tested at the time my D3, vitamin D3, which was low. Obviously, I wasn't in the sun as much as I thought. That was easily resolved. I retested by just taking a D3 supplement, so no problems there. And I did feel a little bit better. At that time, my testosterone had also tested low, but I was like, well, clearly it's not an issue because I weight train and I'm fit and healthy and slim, blah, blah, blah. So the start of my story is actually in about 2015. If I think back to when there was something wrong. And I don't know why I never thought to just do like a full panel of tests. Actually, I do know why. It's the cost. They do cost a lot of money. And unless you're actually feeling really sick, I suppose I didn't want to spend that money without justification. So I'm here to tell you today in this video, please just go and get a blood panel of like almost all your levels if you can afford it, and if you're on medical aid, just do it so that you've got some starting point, some place where you can now go forward from. And also you might discover something is low that you didn't know, and it's easily remedied, it's easily fixable, and you might just feel better. Fast forward a year, my dad passed away. Fast forward again, I had a major life upheaval and I moved from one town to another, so moving homes, which was also very stressful. And then at around the age of 40, I had my first serious night sweat. But throughout all this upheaval, obviously my gym training, it was there, but it wasn't as consistent as I would have liked it to be. I wasn't feeling as strong as I normally would have, but you know, you think when you're going through these things, it will come back. But after I'd moved towns and I'd settled into my new house, I still wasn't feeling right. So like the age of 40, I got a major night sweat. Didn't think too much of it. And then at that time, for some reason, I tried the copper IUD, the copper T, as a form of birth control because I thought, well, it's natural. But anyway, it gave me horrible periods. So anyway, that's long gone now. But so as you change things and things change in your life, you maybe don't feel optimal, but you don't think to, well, I didn't think to go and get blood tested again. Then in lockdown, so that was 2020, I really started to feel low. And again, I thought, well, we're in a pandemic, we're in lockdown, it's natural, I'm going to feel depressed. But again, there was that little something was telling me, but just something's not right, something's not right, something's not right. So eventually, I started doing some research. I had read Suzanne Somers' book on hormones. I was 41, I knew things are going to decline, and I had night sweats. So I thought, right, there's a chance that it's something hormonal. It took the night sweats to like wake me up, and they didn't happen that frequently, but when I had them, it was very like dramatic, especially the one time I could like wring out my pajamas, and that has never happened before. So night sweats, first sign for me, but for you, just so that you're aware as I talk, low mood, low energy, feeling like you're dragging yourself through the day, especially from mid-morning onwards. The afternoons were, all I wanted to do was just lie down on the couch. Whereas today, I do not want to do that at all. In fact, as you can see, I'm speaking faster, I've got more energy, I'm a bit bouncier. I almost feel today like my brain is sharper as well, so that's cool. So like I was having brain fog, low energy, although I was still trying to train. Even in lockdown, I was training at home, from home. But then I had read Suzanne Somers' book about bioidentical hormones, and the lady that trained me as a keto banting coach knows of various good doctors, and she reached out to me on Facebook and said, there is a good doctor who does very well with bioidentical hormones, because I'd asked. And so I went to see him. Before I went to see him, he told me what to test, which we did. We tested the menopause markers, your estradiol, testosterone, and progesterone. My progesterone was very low. I cannot remember which phase of my cycle we tested in. My estradiol was quite low, actually, at that point, but now I don't know which phase of my cycle I was in. My testosterone was very low. Thyroid, of course, was low. So we looked at all these things. And at that point in time, I didn't want to go on thyroid medication. I had this oddly weird negative mindset about going on thyroid medication. I associated it with, I don't know, being old, with being broken, with something wrong with me. I just thought, how can me, somebody who eats right, who's fit, who's healthy, who is a big proponent of fitness and health, who is a diet coach, although no longer practicing. I mean, I've studied nutrition. How could I have a low thyroid? So I said to him, can we wait a month before I go on any form of medication, and let's just try like a natural route. So we put me on a supplement, natural supplement, with iodine and vitamin, I think B and whatever, all these sort of thyroid support things. And again, in a month we retested, my thyroid was still low. So I had to accept the fact that I needed to go on thyroid medication. But still, my mindset wasn't right. I was still not wanting to be maybe a patient, not wanting to be, I don't know. I cannot explain why I was resistant to needing outside help. I felt like my body was betraying me, like it was broken, which I shouldn't have felt. I mean, this happens. It's natural. It's normal. At that point, I was still searching for the why. Why is this happening? What is wrong? What can I fix? I thought that just replacing a hormone that I needed, there was something wrong with doing that, which there isn't. If your body, for whatever reason, is not producing a hormone that you need, just replace it. My message to you is just replace it. Don't feel like there's something wrong with you like I did. I mean, look at me now. I am almost going to sing the praises of all these lovely, delightful hormones, and I'm going to sound a lot like Suzanne Summers probably. And I know it's only day 4, so I will report back in a week and in 2. But I'm sure you can see, for those of you who have followed me, that I am like a whole new person today. My gym workout went better than it's gone in a long time. And so like the realization is sinking in, which is why I want to make this video, that if for whatever reason your body is not producing the hormones, whether it's through old age, through stress, through menopause, through who knows what, it almost doesn't matter the reason. What matters is the solution. So I want to give you the tools today to focus on the solution. Throughout all my testing with the doctor, my progesterone, and I've tested with him I counted about 6 or 7 times. My progesterone has always tested low, no matter what. So I know that I need this. And your progesterone falling low is one of the first things to happen in perimenopause, along with a slow, steady decline in testosterone. I don't know why my testosterone has been low since 2015. I cannot answer that, but it doesn't matter. I finally have the solution. It's simple. It's a gel. I just have to rub it in once a day. So it's actually not difficult. My resistance was just all in my head. And this is why I decided to also ask him about putting me on estradiol, because even with all these things that we were tweaking, I still felt something was off. When I went to the doctor, I said, I'm aching. I'm like aching, and I'm sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And he said, it's the thyroid. I still pushed for the estradiol anyway, because I figure, why not just try a month? We can retest, we can see how I feel. If it makes me feel shitty, I can lower the dose, I can stop. And so I encourage you to take control and speak to the doctor in a way of, we are in this together. You want to work with him, you're willing to retest. I think that was the key that got him to open up. I said, I'm willing to work with you, I'm willing to test, I'm willing to retest. I want to feel better. I'm tired of feeling like shit, to be honest. So if you're feeling unwell, if you're feeling grumpy, if you're feeling crabby, irritable, if you've got low energy, if you feel like, this is how I felt, like my body could not access its own energy. It's hard to explain, but that's how it felt. Like, I've got the energy, I'm eating. In fact, I was craving sugar the last few weeks like crazy, like chocolate. It's all I thought about. Chocolate, sugar, and then coffee. Anything, like any sort of stimulant or pick me up. I was just craving it. And today and yesterday, I kid you not, those cravings are gone. I don't say that will last. I will, like I said, check back before I post this video, and I'll upload my updated how I feel on Friday. But those cravings are gone so far. and I feel like I can access my energy. So hormones are chemical messengers. They are signals to tell our body to do things. If they are low, it stands to reason that we will feel shitty. We may feel depressed, we may feel anxious. I certainly was getting some anxiety recently, more so than before, and yet thinking back now, I've been getting a slightly sort of panicked feeling now and then for quite a while. Usually I just deep breathe and breathe through it, but with progesterone, which is a relaxant, it relaxes your muscles, and apparently it's also an antidepressant. You just feel good. I'm feeling fine. I'm not feeling this urgent, desperate need to deep breathe and to lie down. So that's good. And I urge you, please, if you're feeling off, if something's not right, you know yourself. Think back to a time when you were in your 30s and you felt optimal. And then think back to when did it start to decline. And then think to yourself how valuable it would be if you could feel the way you used to feel. Think how much calmer you would be, how much better you could handle what life throws at you. I was starting to feel like I couldn't cope with the day-to-day, and that's not a good feeling. It's not a good place to be. So I encourage you, please, if you're feeling crabby, grumpy, brain fog, you're reaching to find the words, you're a bit slower, you're too cold, you're too hot, all these things can be hormone related. Now, I'm not saying everything is fixed by hormones, of course not. But what I am saying is, if you get your hormones right first, then you will know if something is still off, that it's another issue. Your hormones can even affect your blood pressure, they can affect your cholesterol, they affect the way you process nutrients, they affect your sleep, as we all know. You will sleep better when your hormones are in balance. They affect your mood, they affect so many things. Bones, bone building, bone growth. I mean, it's a known fact, it's not a secret at all, that replacing estradiol prevents osteoporosis to a large degree. I mean, obviously age still happens, but there's so much information that I want you to start researching for yourself. I discovered today, just from a quick Google research, that progesterone and low thyroid link together. So low progesterone could be a factor, a causal factor for low thyroid, and vice versa. When your thyroid is low, your progesterone may be low. Now, those are the two things that were low in me. So there is a link, and I only learned that today, just by Googling. You don't need to remember all this information. Ultimately, if you find a doctor that's willing to work with you, that will listen to you, that would be the best thing. And you must be willing to test and tweak. So let him put you on something, and then if you're still not feeling right, say so. Speak up. Go for blood tests. I didn't actually realize that I was supposed to be aiming to feel this much better. So it's been about 1.5 years where I've still chugged along on just half a tetroxin, and then chugged along on 50 milligrams of euthyrox. Just like chugging along, not feeling terrible. So that is the danger zone. When you feel okay, you feel okay, you feel all right. You don't feel terrible, but you're not optimal. I want optimal for you, which is why I'm pouring my heart out in this video. I want you to feel you're optimal. And of course, like I've said it repeatedly, I am not a doctor. I'm sharing my experience and what I've learned, and what I've learned is that hormones are critical. Why they decline? It's probably because after reproductive age, nature doesn't see much value in keeping us around, but we are living longer lives, and the fact that we're living for so long demands that we need to find solutions to feel good while we're alive. What is the point of feeling so shitty every day. You don't have to. You really can feel better. And thank goodness I have found some solutions. I hope this helps. I will check back in and I'll put some information on the screen. Bye. I just want to add in quickly, on the Friday when I started this new protocol, I did have a bit of a feeling like there was too much fluid in my head. It's weird, like a pressure feeling. I woke up the next morning on the Saturday and I felt the same. It resolved. So obviously with the changes in different hormone levels, maybe it's the higher thyroid medication. Just expect, if you do go on to some hormones, you may feel a bit weird for a day or two, even up to a week. But as Kitty Anderson says in her videos on hormones, you should actually notice a difference, a positive difference, if it's working within 2 weeks. So a word is to just give it 2 weeks and then see how you go with it. It's day 5 of my brand new hormone protocol. I'm just stopping outside to record quickly. I'm taking my mother to the same doctor. Sorry, there's a lot of sunlight. Just thought it's a beautiful day, so why not record outside? I still feel as fantastic as I did yesterday. Yesterday, my son was saying to me, "But Mom, you are whistling." And true as nuts, I was whistling. I find all of a sudden I'm singing, I'm humming, I'm bopping around, I'm bouncing, I'm moving. Sorry, there's a car coming. I'm just feeling springy. My thoughts seem to be happening faster. I feel alive. I can tolerate music. I don't feel grumpy. I don't feel irritable. Today my gym workout was fantastic. Even though I did a heavy leg workout yesterday, I didn't feel like sore and achy. So clearly I'm recovering a little bit better. So yeah, things are good. I just thought I'd report. It's day 5. I'll keep reporting just so that you can follow along with me. So please bear in mind, if you're feeling negative, if you can't tolerate the day, if you just cannot face the day, it may not all be mental. It could be, maybe, I'm not an expert, but might be due to hormones. It is so worth getting them checked out. If I could bottle this feeling I have yesterday and today, I would give it to you. That's what I'm trying to do with this video. I'm trying to give it to you. I'm telling you. So I'm sharing my experience just from me to you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a pharmacist. I'm a woman going through some stuff, and the whole point of my channel is I want to be a friend to you. You know how friends just share stuff that's good that they've come across? That is the point of my channel. That's why it seems a bit haphazard, is because anything good that I come across, I just want to share it with you. So if it's a good product, if it's a good experience, if it's something fun, if it makes you laugh, hormone replacement therapy, anything that's of value, big or small, I'm going to share it with you. And it's me again on day 5. Sorry, you're getting me in the car again, waiting to fetch my son. So I just took my mom to the same doctor, and he's put her on a bioidentical hormone replacement cream. It's got all the 3 hormones. In fact, it's got 2 kinds of estrogen. But that's for her. She's in menopause, so she doesn't need to tweak levels and be so specific like me. We know she's in menopause, so for her it's a 1 cream. And he addressed the cancer concern in such a beautiful way that I thought I have to share it with you. So he said the old thinking was that the hormones can cause cancer. So he said it's not the hormones that trigger the cancer. The hormones don't start the fire, but they may fan the flames. So if there's existing cancer, when you start hormone replacement therapy after maybe a break or whatever, yes, the cancer may grow a little faster and show up. Now, of course, that would cause us to think that there's a link between hormone replacement therapy and cancer. He was quite happy for her to just go back onto, but now she's going on to bioidentical hormones, not synthetic HRT. And he's ordered her to go for a breast exam. He wanted her to do a mammogram. She's like, basically, if that shit, it's sore. So she's going to do an ultrasound, which is another option. I know none of us ladies really like to have our boobs squashed into the mammogram. But I don't want to share too much of my mom's story. That's her personal story. She will let me know how she feels. I'm just glad she was open-minded enough to allow me to take her to a doctor. It actually turns out she's only been off HRT for 8 years, so she's still within her window of opportunity, which is also apparently an old-fashioned way of thinking about it. So she can go back on quite safely, even according to conventional doctors' wisdom. And the last thing I want to add, I don't want to get too long-winded with this video, is that what I've noticed is that I'm more receptive to humans around me. So with a better mood, I feel more social. I feel like I want to interact more. I'm making eye contact more. It's easier, this is going to sound so weird, but it's easier to speak to people and interact with them, and I feel positive about it. I want to interact. Whereas a week ago, I just wanted to lie on my couch and be left alone, mostly. I know that sounds dramatic. It wasn't every day, of course. I mean, obviously I was still going out in the world and greeting people and smiling, but that all felt like a bit of an effort. And that's not how I want to be. And again, I'm going to just quick disclaim, I don't say every problem in life is solved by hormones. I know it can sound that way. But what I said to my mother is, what I want to do is make sure my biology is correct before I go and start. Sometimes, you go for therapy, you think it's in your head, you think you need to address, I don't know, issues in your relationship, but sometimes the issue is your biology. You're feeling irritable and it's actually not your partner. So for me, fix my biology because I can, because it's available, because we have the medical technology. Yay! We have bioidentical hormones available. We didn't have that years ago, and I'm going to take it. Let me just address another thing. My mother asked the question, so aren't we meant to be losing our hormones? Didn't nature design us in a specific way that we're supposed to be in menopause, and why should we have to replace? Look, unless you are God, you'll never know the answer. But like I said to her, biologically we are made to recreate, reproduce. So nature wants us to have children, and then it's done. It doesn't care. It's going to shut down the hormones, the factory. I'm not taking hormones so that I can have another baby. I'm taking hormones to feel vital, to feel good on the inside, young on the inside. It's not about the outside. I'm still going to probably get wrinkles and whatever, but to feel like I have that drive, that force, that life force, that energy. And then my mom said, yeah, but aren't you meant to slow down? Who says you're supposed to be running around exercising and running all the time? And I'm not saying that I'm going to be running like an athlete of 20 in my 40s, but I like exercise. I believe it's healthy, so I'd like the hormonal support in order to be able to continue. And I'm a mother to a 12 turning 13-year-old child. I need to keep up. I do not have the luxury of just slowing down and sitting at home knitting in my 40s. I can't do it. I will not do it. I will take the help, and that's my view on it. I just share that with you as a view. You can have your own views, and if you don't believe in or agree with HRT, don't do it. I'm just telling you what's working so far for me. I know it's early days, but there's food for thought. Oh, and one last thing I have to add. Suddenly, my tolerance for cold has increased. I think that is the thyroid medication. I think that's because we've gone from 50 milligrams of euthyrox to 100 milligrams of L-troxin. When I do reading on what the ingredients are, it's the same active ingredient, so I don't know why the doctor put me on a different brand. I will ask him. I'm just going to trust that he knows what he's doing. Whatever it is working. I'm not feeling that biting cold in my bones, in my fingers, in my toes, and I have felt that way for a long time. So people, it's a miracle. I can hear the angels singing. Something is working, as I've said. Hallelujah. And the last thing to add, sorry, you're not going to be able to shut me up today, is that the question arises for men, like my stepfather was asking, my son was asking, what about men? Don't they go through male menopause? Yes, they do. It's called andropause. But you guys only have the one main sex hormone, testosterone, and your decline is slow and steady, so you may not notice and realize the way we do. I don't know what age it hits for you guys, whether it's just a slow decline from like the early 40s onwards, but men do testosterone replacement therapy. I'm not a man, I don't know enough about it, but if you're a man feeling low, grumpy, irritable, low energy, it may be worth testing your testosterone level and getting it checked out. Try testosterone replacement therapy. Give it a bash. You've got nothing to lose. It's a hormone. It's natural to our bodies. We're putting in, especially the bioidenticals, the stuff that we already make, we're putting in the same stuff. It's not foreign. It's not like a blood pressure medication or a sleeping tablet. There's no sort of negative side effects unless you go way too high, of course. Anything too high is a problem. So for men, look into your testosterone replacement therapy. What do you have to lose? Try it. If it makes a difference, if it gives you a boost, then you're going to say, wow, awesome. And then the doctor will probably ask you to check your prostate cancer levels, your PSA levels. Just check it anyway. What's the harm? That's my 5 cents. Bye. In terms of men and testosterone replacement therapy, I have to add this in as I edit, but what I want to say is I'm not an expert and I haven't done the research on men and TRT like I've done on women and HRT. So from my understanding, if a man goes on TRT, it could shut down his own production of testosterone. This is something you need to decide whether you are willing, a risk you are willing to take. You need to decide whether your levels are low enough to warrant trying out testosterone replacement therapy. So although I said, what have you got to lose? There are implications to anything. For me as a female going on HRT, it's not an issue because my ovaries are in the process of shutting down anyway. There's not a chance in hell I'm going to get my hormone levels up naturally again. I'm going to hit, well, I'm in perimenopause and I'm going to hit menopause at some stage. So yes, maybe I'm starting HRT earlier. Maybe I'm just experiencing the symptoms earlier, or maybe I'm just noticing them before other women actually notice them. Maybe it's because I'm fit and active and I'm noticing my recovery is less than what it used to be, and maybe that's a signal for me. Like I said, I have been getting night sweats. Maybe other women just write it off if it's not that frequent. Who knows? I'm not going to question anymore the whys behind it, but I am prepared to accept that this is something I'm going to need to be on, well, for as long as I can afford it, or as long as I'm willing to do it. And I am willing to do it because I know my body's own hormone levels are not going to come back. They are not going to restore. But for a man, your decline is sort of slow and steady. Maybe you're happy to keep your own production there. And if you start a TRT, which boosts your levels, your own production might fall lower faster. I don't know. Something you need to do the research on. Google's your friend, people. Another quick car video. Today is day 6 and not such a great day. So as I thought, I didn't want to speak too soon. I did speak too soon. Last night I didn't sleep very well, and I woke up at one point in the night and couldn't get back to sleep again with that sort of almost headachy, but like a stuffy head feeling, hard to describe, and a kind of like, I wouldn't say anxious, but wide awake. Like I'm imagining it's the thyroid medication, so I'm imagining my thyroid levels have gone up too high. So what I did yesterday was I'd Googled the best way to take my thyroid medication, and I followed those instructions, meaning I haven't been doing that before. So my tetroxin and my L-troxin or /Euthyrox, I haven't been precise about taking it on an empty stomach and like an hour before breakfast or 3 hours after my last meal at night. I haven't been specifically doing that. I was researching that, like in the morning when I take tetroxin, I shouldn't have coffee straight away. I shouldn't even eat breakfast for a full hour. Well, what I've been doing is taking the medication upon waking, getting up and making coffee. So basically within 10 to 15 minutes of taking the medication. So they say coffee can interfere with that. And then in the evenings, I haven't been waiting like 3 hours for my stomach to empty before taking medication. So 3 variables. We've upped my levothyroxine, the altroxin. And what I did yesterday was I waited 3 hours before I took it before bed. Now, I don't know if that has affected the fact that my thyroid levels have increased, but it feels like that. It could also be an increase in the estrogen combined with the thyroid, combined with now I'm on the progesterone and the testosterone. It could be all 3, but I didn't sleep so well. I feel, I wouldn't say again anxious, but hyper. Maybe hyper is the word. And like, although I haven't slept, I still feel very alert, which is a good thing. But today, not feeling fantastic, not rested, obviously, because I only slept about, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours, which is not bad, but not great. Was up for a big chunk in the middle of the night, couldn't sleep. So not everything was always perfect. And yesterday I kind of noticed like puffiness around my ankles. Now, I've got Cankles. If you've seen my Cankle video, which I will link to down below for those who are interested, I have puffy ankles anyway, but they looked a bit extra puffy, so maybe there's some edema going on, which could be due to all the hormones. The point is, one has to tweak things, so there's no perfect solution. Obviously, if your body is not producing its own hormones perfectly, you need to help it. So now I'm troubleshooting. The most logical thing is that it's my thyroid hormone. When I go for my test and we check the blood levels, I will see what it is. What I will do tonight is just half the dose and see if that makes a difference to how I feel, and then I'll know. So I'm going to troubleshoot on my own. If I don't get it right, I will troubleshoot with the doctor. Okay, so today's day 7. I do feel a lot better. I slept really well last night. I halved the dose of levothyroxine. I took my old tablet, Euthyrox. Obviously, I slept well because I had not slept the day before. So I think the point is you're going to have your ups and downs until you sort of settle into your new routine with your new hormones. I think I'm going to end the video here and leave you on a cliffhanger until I get my blood test results next week. So I'm going to go for blood test next week, Thursday or Friday. It'll be about 2 weeks. And then I think we can go through the results and we can chat a bit more. So with any new protocol and with any sort of hormone replacement therapy, it's a process. It's a process of trial and error. And of course, it's not going to stay fixed for the next 10 years. But I do assume that if I test and everything's looking good and I'm feeling good, this is something I can continue with for the foreseeable future. I'm not going to have to do blood tests like every week or every month. So we'll probably settle into something, and then I can probably only sort of retest every year, which will be awesome. What I want to ask you guys to do is please, in the comments below, number 1, give me tips, ideas, and suggestions for how I can improve these videos, whether you are enjoying the content, and give me your experiences, if you have any, with HRT, with thyroid medication. We can create a little community in the comment section and help one another. So any experience that you've had, you can share, and it may be useful to somebody else. Also, as a new and growing YouTuber, I would welcome feedback, even if it's criticism. Is the volume on the videos good enough? Is the audio good enough? It's just me with my cell phone. So it is simple and humble, but I'm willing to work on things. Obviously, until I hit like 1,000 subscribers, I may not be able to go and invest in a microphone and things like that, but I am willing to improve things. And sorry, my son's squeaking his shoes in the background. I am willing to improve things and make things better for you and cover any sort of topics that you guys would like to know. So to wrap up this video on HRT, the thing that I want to say is, fight for your own health. You have to check your blood work to know where you are. And that's it, I think. Until next time. Bye.